as many of you will know, I've spent a good couple of days now being thoroughly thrilled by the results of the American election and what amazing American people have done. But I've seen a few times people saying, but so what, Katie? Why does it matter? That you're British. So what does it matter for Britain? Or I've seen actually from Americans too. But so what, you're British, this is an American election. I don't really understand why it impacts you guys. So I thought I'd try and explain.
The decision by Donald Trump to exclude UK Prime Minister Kier Starmer from his inner circle while openly embracing Nigel Farage has sparked controversy on both sides of the Atlantic. This bold move, while seemingly straightforward, has deep political undertones that signal much about Trump's priorities, relationships, the future of US-UK relations. Katie Hopkins, the outspoken political commentator, wasted no time in weighing in on this development with her characteristic fiery rhetoric. Hey, quick favour before we move on. If you find this political content interesting, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Most of you watch without subscribing and it's free, but it helps us out so much. Have you done it yet? Thanks a ton for the support.
Well, UK Prime Minister Kier Starmer has congratulated Donald Trump on his inauguration in a video message which lacked one thing: enthusiasm.
Donald Trump's decision to overlook Kier Starmer for his inauguration or other significant political events isn't a matter of oversight. Trump is known for his deliberate and symbolic decisions, and his rejection of Starmer seems to follow a broader pattern. Starmer, who has been critical of Trump's policies, finds himself on the receiving end of what some see as a political power play. A reminder that Trump's loyalty lies with those who support him unequivocally.
The UK Premier.
Yes, he's coming tonight.
What do you think of him? Some of his colleagues in government are quite critical of you.
Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice, right?
In contrast, Nigel Farage, who has long been a vocal supporter of Trump, is repeatedly rewarded with public appearances and recognition. Farage's presence at Trump's rallies and events underscores the former president's appreciation for loyalty over protocol. This dynamic raises a critical question. Is Trump merely rewarding Farage's allegiance, or is he sending a clear signal about the kind of leaders he respects?
He's not happy. The president-elect, of course, is beginning celebrations this weekend ahead of the inauguration on Monday, but he seems to be putting his foot down.
Here in the UK, things aren't so rosy because it's revealed a record number of millionaires have fled the nation since Mr. Starmer's entry into number 10.
The exclusion of a sitting British Prime Minister from Trump's circle has wider implications beyond personal relationships. Historically, US presidents have maintained neutral yet respectful ties with British leaders. Trump's decision to break from this tradition cast doubt on the state of UK-US relations under Starmer's leadership.
And then a personal PS. So the three big reasons as I see it. Why does it matter? Firstly, it's a rational reason, right? So a rational set of reasons that Donald J. Trump and his team of brilliant people will restore stuff that makes sense.
Starmer's public criticism of Trump's policies may have endeared him to some within the UK, but it has seemingly alienated him from the former president. Trump's calculated snub might suggest that he sees Starmer as an adversary rather than an ally. This could have far-reaching consequences for how these two leaders navigate critical issues, from trade agreements to global security concerns.
The inauguration of Donald J. Trump as the 47th American president. And I will say things are moving obviously very quickly.
Enter Katie Hopkins, a figure as polarizing as Trump himself. Known for her unfiltered opinions, Hopkins has become a staunch defender of Trump's decision-making, often amplifying his criticisms of those who oppose him. For Hopkins, Trump's rejection of Starmer is a vindication of her own beliefs about the UK's political landscape.
The inauguration of Donald J. Trump as the 47th American president. And I will say things are moving obviously very quickly. The inauguration is now going to be indoors. A very small number of people will be able to attend. There were 200,000 patriots who were ticketed to be there at the outdoor event, plus a further 250,000 expected to turn up unticketed, and clearly that represents a numerical difficulty. But ultimately,
in her recent commentary, Hopkins celebrated Trump's decision as a victory for authenticity over what she calls political correctness. She argued that Starmer's leadership lacks the boldness required to command respect on a global stage. Hopkins also used the moment to criticise Starmer's policies, particularly his stance on issues like climate change and economic reforms, which she believes align too closely with what she describes as globalist agendas.
Welcome along. Britain is now the diversity and inclusion capital of the world. So while America's got this,
Are only two genders, male and female.
we have got this.
Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix?
Nigel Farage's inclusion in Trump's circle is no coincidence. Farage has consistently positioned himself as a key ally of Trump, echoing his rhetoric and supporting his policies during his presidency. This mutual admiration has translated into a strong personal and professional bond that transcends traditional diplomatic protocols.
This year alone, it's thought more than 10,000 millionaires left the country.
Not so good, is it? The Treasury is now facing pressure to revive the non-dom tax status amid fears that
Farage's presence at Trump's events is more than just symbolic. It's a statement. Trump values leaders who align with his vision and are unafraid to stand against the grain. By elevating Farage, Trump reinforces his preference for bold, unapologetic leadership, a stark contrast to Starmer's more measured and cautious approach.
And Trump getting to the White House, and with an assassination attempt or two on his life already, it's so much more important that he makes it alive and well back into power. And having been out tonight amongst the bars here in DC, what is very, very clear whether people have flown.
For Kier Starmer, the optics of being excluded while a divisive figure like Farage is celebrated are undoubtedly damaging. In the world of global politics, appearances matter, and being left off Trump's guest list sends a message that Starmer may not carry the influence or respect required to engage with a figure as polarizing and influential as Trump.
Back in as the 47th President of the United States of America, many of these individuals have fought for 8 years to get him this far with their petitions, with their meetings, with their endless efforts. And this really is a celebration, and it's a time of jubilation for America.
Starmer's critics have seized upon this moment, arguing that it highlights a broader issue with his leadership style. By distancing himself from Trump and his policies, Starmer may have secured favour among his domestic supporters, but at what cost? The lack of engagement with Trump could hinder the UK's ability to negotiate effectively with the US on key issues, from trade to security.
Of His Majesty's government and the United Kingdom, I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States.
Hopkins, never one to mince words, has labelled Starmer's leadership as weak and uninspired. She argues that Starmer's attempts to maintain a distance from Trump are less about principles and more about appeasing his political base. For Hopkins, this strategy is short-sighted and fails to consider the importance of maintaining strong US-UK ties, regardless of personal or political differences.
I will be taking a different approach to the last opposition by being a constructive opposition. And so I would like to start by congratulating President-elect Trump on his impressive victory this morning. The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary met him in September. Did the Foreign Secretary take that opportunity to apologise for making derogatory and scatological references, including, and I quote, Trump is not only a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, he is also a profound threat to the international order. And if he did not apologise, will the Prime Minister do so now on his behalf?
Hopkins also pointed to Starmer's policies on renewable energy and climate change as examples of his missteps. She criticised his push for wind energy and the closure of North Sea oil fields, arguing that these moves weaken the UK's energy independence and make it more vulnerable to external pressures.
Whilst President Trump orders all diversity and inclusion employees to be put on paid leave, we have got this.
No, it's just...
A woman can have a
The public response to this controversy has been predictably divided. Trump supporters view his rejection of Starmer as a justified snub against a leader who has been openly critical of him. Meanwhile, Starmer's supporters see it as further evidence of Trump's divisiveness and disregard for diplomatic norms.
Trump orders all diversity and inclusion departments to close. And we have a colour-blind, merit-based society. That's what he wants. We have got this.
Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix, David?
I don't know if it's transphobic, but it's not accurate, Nick. I mean, obviously, it's probably the case that only that trans women don't have ovaries, but a cervix, I understand, is something that you can have following various procedures and hormone treatment and all the rest of it.
On social media, the debate has raged, with hashtags like Starmer Snub and Trump Farage trending. Supporters of Farage and Hopkins have used the moment to rally behind their cause, while critics have accused them of pandering to Trump's agenda.
Let's cross back now to Trump's America.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
Katie Hopkins, known for her no-holds-barred commentary, wasted no time in addressing Donald Trump's snub of UK Prime Minister Kier Starmer. For Hopkins, this move was not only a moment of political theatre, but also a statement on leadership values. She expressed her support for Trump's decision, emphasising what she sees as a lack of authenticity and resolve in Starmer's leadership style. To Hopkins, the exclusion of Starmer symbolised the disconnection between the Prime Minister and the global leaders pushing bold political agendas.
Britain, where today, MPs decided to discuss whether we should have more female footballers on birthday cards. Seriously. According to data from LinkedIn, UK organisations employ twice as many diversity and inclusion professionals per 10,000 employees than any country in the world. And we have the second largest number of diversity and inclusion professionals globally, behind America.
This controversy is about more than just invitations and appearances. It highlights deeper issues within UK-US relations and the evolving nature of global diplomacy. Trump's decision to exclude Starmer and embrace Farage raises questions about how leaders should navigate complex political landscapes and balance domestic and international priorities.
The relationship between our two nations has been one of collaboration, cooperation and enduring partnership.
Well, that's quite the turnaround from this.
Of course, I wouldn't want Donald Trump round for dinner, but don't underestimate the danger to the world if Trump is re-elected this time around. I'm anti-Trump.
Joining me now is GB News host Darren Grimes. Darren, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. It was as if Kier Starmer was being held at ransom to film his congratulation video. He wasn't invited to the inauguration, and there are reports that the Prime Minister will be at the back of the queue for a visit to the White House and will have to, quote, eat humble pie before receiving an invitation.
For Starmer, the challenge will be to demonstrate that his leadership can withstand these kinds of symbolic snubs. For Trump, it's another opportunity to assert his influence and remind the world that his decisions carry weight, even outside the presidency. Katie Hopkins' fiery response to Trump's rejection of Kier Starmer encapsulates the polarised nature of contemporary politics. While some see it as a justified critique of Starmer's leadership, others view it as an unnecessary escalation of political tensions.
Second largest number of diversity and inclusion professionals globally, behind America, but now obviously with the world leader, because Trump's just scrapped it all, hasn't it? We've got Westminster City Council posting a diversity, equality and inclusion job advert which discriminates against white applicants. They are looking for an individual who comes from a, quote, global majority background to become a permanent staff member with a starting salary of nearly 50.
As this story unfolds, one thing is clear. The dynamics between these political figures will continue to shape the narrative of UK-US relations. Whether this moment becomes a turning point or a footnote remains to be seen. But for now, it serves as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between loyalty, leadership, and diplomacy. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like and subscribe to our channel. So watch more videos here for the latest insights.